Hello and welcome, this is Mouse Gunner, and it's time for me to give another one of my Mousepressions. The idea behind this series is from time to time I receive copies of games from the developers, so full disclosure, I did receive this game for free. And normally what I'll do when I receive one of these games is I'll stream it for a couple hours, see what I think of it, and if I think it's worth showcasing, I will present it in this series. So that's what we're going to do with Algobot. Now, in the case of this game, it came out in February of 2018, so it's been about 4 months since that's been the case, and it's been about 4 months since I played it, as I did stream it around about the time that it came out. There will be times where I will be going back and looking at older games. This game is one that fully launched. It is not in early access. Some of the other games that I looked at previously, they are games that have promise, but they're in early access, so I feel like they can be put a little bit more on the back burner and see what happens with them. But in this case, I just never really got around to featuring it on my channel, so this is going to be the opportunity to do that, as I don't really have another game that I want to do that's newer. So that's what we're going to do. Algobot is a programming puzzle game where you command the bot that we're looking at right now, and you are going to do various tasks. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the game to demonstrate that. Now, as I mentioned, it's been a while since I played this, so I'll be a little rusty, but I will be picking up right where I left off, as you do have features of the game or mechanics of the game that unlock as you go, and it does kind of slowly dole out those mechanics or features of the puzzles. So if I were to start from the beginning, you wouldn't really see a lot of the mechanics until I got pretty far in. So just to keep the video a little shorter and also showcase more of what the game is about, I'm going to start at the point that I left off on, I believe. At least I think so. But there are different areas of a ship that you're on, and the bot that you are commanding is more or less tasked with repairing it or doing other features, as there has been a catastrophe that has befallen the ship. And I'm not really going to get too much into the plot, but there is a plot for this game. There is going to be dialogue. I am not going to really read through it. I'm just going to skip through it. As, again, the idea behind this series is to feature the game, not necessarily really get into the plot or anything like that. And I also don't want to spoil things if you do want to play this, although I don't know how much there is to spoil in this particular game. All right, so what we have to do for this particular puzzle is this is our bot, and this is our exit. So we have a start point, which is green. We have an exit point, which is red. We do need to end up there to finish the puzzle, but we have to do other tasks before we can do that and be successful. And really what we're needing to do is have this other bot go along the conveyor system and go out to this exit point. But I can't do that because there's two gates blocking that pathway. So I need to do features on out in front of me to be able to do that. So more or less what I need to do is I need to transmit data. I need to take that data from one point and I need to take it to the other point. And these are marked. If I remember correctly, there's no way to really move around the map, so you can't really maybe make it out, but this one's marked A and this one's marked B, and then we have one that's marked A and B. So this is pretty straightforward. You have to download from A and then drop off on A, download from B, and then drop off on B. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So I have a couple commands already listed here. This was stuff that I did just to test out the game to try and remind myself what it is that I needed to do. We also have a color coding system. So we can link commands to a certain color so that only when that color is displayed, it will link to that thing. I'll kind of demonstrate that, how that works. But our main commands of movement are going to be straightforward. We have different turn orders, and we have reverse. Then we have to turn on a switch. We don't have a switch to turn on, but if there was one, that would be the command we'd do. I can't remember what these commands are, and unfortunately, there's no tooltips for them. But the main ones we're going to be using is download the data and then transmit the data. So that's what we're going to be needing to do it. And there's no orientation you need to do. So orientation only really matters for traversing the terrain. So we have to go from these different nodes. So to go this way, I have to go straight forward, and then I need to turn to the left. But I don't need to turn towards the download point to activate it. I can do it no matter what my orientation is, and I can do that in any order. Now, this is the main track of doing your command. So right now I have go straight forward and download. So if I were to hit play, it would do that. So there we go, downloading the data. But then we have an error because I didn't really finish and end up here. So if I hit stop, then we go back to the beginning. Now, the idea here, this being a programming game, is you're trying to make it as efficient as possible. And you can use these different functions as well to have repeatable commands. So if I find on this track something that looks repeatable, like I'm going to want to do it multiple times, I put it in this function. So one that I'm already seeing is we have kind of a leg of the brain here that goes 1 forward, 1 left, and then 2 forward, 1 left, and then even a couple forward. We see that here, and then we see it repeated here again. So that's going to be one that we're probably going to want to program. So to do that, I'm going to grab that. Let's get rid of this. The problem with programming it, if I have things to do in between though, is if I do that command, then I'm not going to do the other things. So we probably don't want to start with a straightforward. So we'll go straightforward. We'll pick up our data. Let's make that red. Now, one of the things I'm foggy on is I don't know if you can pick up 2 sets of data at once. Maybe if you have them different colors, you can. We'll test that, but I don't think so. If we were to need to go the rest of the way, then we would do... I'm just going to do this mostly to test it out at first. If we can pick up more than 1 data point, let's see if we can. So we'll go left, we'll go forward, we'll go right, go forward twice. And this is just to see if we can download more than 1 data point. I don't think you can, but we'll link that to green and we'll say download. Green. There we go. Okay, so we have 2 download commands. And then, in theory, we should have the drop-off commands. All right. Well, obviously, you will run out of space if you try and do everything on this main track. That's why you do want to have the repeatable thing. So let's see if we can put this repeatable track in here to the function. So if I do this in this function here, and then how I would use this is I'd pull up function 1 and I'd do that. So we would end up at the end of this, we'd be here. I don't know if there's another function we'd want to use, but let's say we continue, we go along here, and then we get to here. Then we'd want this function could be used again once we're here because that gets us to the same point. Okay, so let's see if we can do... I might use a function here just to save myself space, even if I may not reuse it. So in that case, we end facing... We could put in the turn. That wouldn't really hurt anything. So we would want to turn left. That wouldn't really hurt what we need to do because we do the same thing over here. Okay, so the other one, I'm going to do straightforward. That'll get us here. And we're going to need to turn right. We're going to go 2 forward. 1, 2. And then we're going to turn right again. And then go forward 1, 2. 1, 2. And then we'll turn left. That's as much as I can get out of that function, but I'm going to put it in there just to save me a lot of space. Okay, so now we're here, and we've turned the proper way to get up to here. So I need to then go forward 1 and drop off. We're going to switch to red here. Drop that off. Then we're going to do function 1, which should get us to where we need to go. And then we're going to do drop off and make that green. Okay. And then now we just need to get out. So we do turn. So all I need to do is go straight forward. And then we turn right. We go straight forward 2 more times. 1, 2. So if we can drop off these things all in one go, then this will work. If not, then we'll have to re-plan this. You can speed up the traveling. I like to go at least 2 times. Because The animations are a little on the slow side, but if you are testing things out and you already know kind of how it's going to go, I would recommend the fastest speed, which is 3 times. So we'll go with 2 times though this time. So there we go. Download the data. We drop it. Oh yeah, we downloaded the other one. Drop off. Okay, that worked. Drop off. And that worked. All right, so our first attempt worked perfectly. Okay, so again, I'm going to skip through the dialogue because that's not really what I am worrying about. Okay, and now it's going to give me an idea of how well I did. So, commands used, and this is our target score. So I could have made that more efficient than I did. And that's kind of the thing that you can do if you want to get the most efficient outcome. I think you may even be able to get beyond the target score, but it gives you an idea of where you could be. And you don't necessarily have to improve it if you don't want to, but if that's something you want to do, that's up to you. Let's go ahead and go on to the next level. Okay. So again, I'm not going to really go over the dialogue here, so we're just going to skip through that. All right. So now it looks like we have a little bit more complex of a path, as we can go multiple different directions. Not so straightforward. So we've got our drop-off point of B and A, so unfortunately we're quite a ways away from our download point. Because this is a cross shape, we'll probably be able to use our functions pretty well here, because from what I'm seeing, we'd go kind of around the clock. Maybe not the most efficient course, but it would work. And then we drop off here, go around the clock, drop off here, go back around the clock, and then eventually get to this end. So we're going to have to figure out what is the best way to utilize our function. So first, let's get on the track. So I'm going to go forward twice. 1, 2. Okay, so from here, if we were to do a function, let's say we go forward 2, then we turn left, go forward 2, turn right, forward 2. Is that something we would repeat commonly? Maybe if we turn right afterwards and then we could repeat it, we'd put in the download on here, but then, yeah, I think that might work. So we've gone forward 2, so we're going to do the rest of the thing. So we're going to go forward 2. Look at us there. We'll go left, turn us there, then we'll go forward 2 again. 1, 2. We might not have enough room to do everything. Then we're going to turn right and forward 2. All right, so I cannot fit any more commands in. We're going to have to manually put in the rest. But this should be something that we repeat often. As we're going around the same direction, it's going to be the same series of commands. It's going to be, if we turn here, it's going to be forward, then it's going to be left, and then it's going to be forward, then it's going to be right, then it's going to be forward. So pretty straightforward. So we're going to use that function, get us to here. And now we're going to download, and it's already defaulted to red, which is fine. We're going to need to turn to the right, and then we can repeat function 1. There may be a way that we could do this with a function as well, where I even do the 2 forward with the function, because we would have to do that at some point, I think, to get out. So I could even do that if I wanted to. I mean, I don't see another point that I would want to use that. So what the heck? We'll do function 2 as 2 forward. That. Okay. So back to this. This should get us here. So we're going to download, but this time color code it green so that we are getting that on a different track. We're going to turn to the right again. And we're going to repeat function 1. And now we need to drop off, so we're going to do that. Want that color-coded red, which is always the default. Then we're going to turn right again. Should get us on that. And then we're going to go function 1 again. And then we should end up here, which we are now going to offload green. So to do that, I've selected the color, and then I click the item to make it green. I can do the same thing with this. Well, actually, no. I guess you can't do it with anything other than the actual, but we want that one. But it defaults to red. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're here. We need to turn right again. And we need to do function 1. And then we are at the exit point, so we'll do function 2. So if I did that correctly, this should work. So let's go ahead and speed this up to 2 and hit play. Now there may have been an error that I made. Ah, okay, I see the error I made. So let's stop it. Okay, the error I made is just that I put function 1 ahead of the download command. So now this should work, and then... Oh, no, that's fine. I actually overthought that. I was looking at that incorrectly. All right, let's try that again. Okay, yeah, that's right. For a second there, I thought that was the download point. Okay, drop off point number 1. Drop off point number 2. Our little guy goes in the gate. And we're gone. So again, I don't know if that's the most efficient way that we could do that, but that was one way to do it. Let's see how we get here. Okay, so we're not that far off. Let's do one more level. Okay. Now we have Y and G. We also have a button to press as well. Okay. So it sounds like the little bot guy is going to... alright. So now we're adding in a lot more other features here. So now I remember what this does. So this is picking up and dropping off. So I need to go and pick him up, and then need to drop him off on this other conveyor system. So this is getting a little bit more complex. We also have the download data here and here, and here and here. Okay. So this one I'm going to have to think about. We do have a track that goes in a circle. So we may be able to take advantage of that. But from what I'm seeing, we do have a right turn and then 2 to here. And then we have to turn around and go 4 to get to there to drop them off. I don't know if there's an easy command for that. And then we have the other problem of how do we do this other track. In a way, this is the same kind of command here. And I do see that we do 4 straights multiple times. But using the circle track, it could be useful as an efficiency thing. Because it doesn't really matter which way we download these things. As long as we remember what color goes to what, we're fine. So would I be better off going around the track around this way than dropping them off here? Or would I be better off dropping them off first and then going and doing the thing? All right, well, let's think about it. So if I go right, then 2, I pick him up. I see that we can move 4 repeatedly, so that is something that I can repeat. That is a function that is easily repeatable. The turns I might have to do manually, but the 4 straight, that's something that's repeated often. So let's go ahead and... As a matter of fact, I also see right turn 2 as a possible commandable thing as well. So let's make that a command. So I'm going to make right to forward as a function. We can use that at least twice. And then we would manually, I believe this one is pick up and then drop off, but I may be misremembering that. So let's just try out the command as is. So I'll speed this up to 2. Okay, yeah, that is the pickup command. All right, good. So once we've done that, so here it's, yeah, the turns are going to have to be manual because this is a different turn than this is, the left turn. So we'll do the left turn manually, and then we have the 4 straight, which is going to be our function here. And I believe because the turns are going to be different, I don't know if I can factor a turn into this, unless I'm wrong. Because in theory we could do left turn 4, left turn 4, then we'd reverse. The problem is then that left turn causes me an issue when I want to use it in other instances. So I think we just keep it simple with the 4. So by putting that here, we end up here. Then we're going to want to download, and I'll go ahead and make that one red. We just have to remember that Y is red. Okay, so that will be the one that will download last, or offload last. Okay, then we need to turn to the left and use this function again. And then we will download. This one will be green. Okay. Then we need to turn left again. Function. We end up here. We need to drop off. That. Okay, we need to reverse this command. We use this function to get here. Oh, I just realized that right 2 is not really a thing. It would have been if we'd come from this direction. So do I remove the right and just use the function? This is getting pretty tight. Matter of fact, I don't think we'd pull it off if I put that function 1 here again. And then I would need a turn to be able to pull that off. All right. Let's think this through. I could put more commands in this function and only use it once. And it would help me a little bit, but then I wouldn't be able to use the function ever again. I don't think any of this other stuff is repeatable, really. All right, well, let's try it. It won't hurt to do. We'll take a lot of these commands and put it in function 1 just to save us some space. All right, so once we've done function 2, we should end up here. I'm going to need 2 forward. 1, 2. And then I need to turn right. And this is getting really close. I don't think we're going to pull it off with that, because the right turn would kind of screw me. All right. Let me... this one's getting a little bit more difficult. I think I do have to modify function 2. To put that left turn in. The problem is at the end, what do I do? Because the left turn's going to not be in my favor. We could put a command in to help us, but it'd be an extra command. Okay, so let's say we put the left turns into the function. Say that. Oh, that's right. I grabbed the left turn here. So if we grab this left turn and pull it from there, and we instead put it here, does that save us a lot of space? Because we can get rid of this. This. Maybe. But then this is not really a viable command unless... Ah, okay. Maybe we can take advantage of it. Hold on. So... I'm telling myself to turn around, but maybe we use a different command. So I turn left, and then if I turn left again, I'll end up turning around. All right, that's not a bad idea. That way we can actually use the command. All right, let's just test to make sure this thing is actually doing what I want it to. Okay, pick him up, turn. Turn. Turned. All right. So that worked. So once we're here, I need to go forward twice and then turn right. Can we fit that in here without running over? Okay, so far so good. See, I tell myself to turn right. Maybe that's not what we want to do. So if I tell myself to turn left with this command, maybe if I go 2 forward, hold on, go 2 forward, and then I turn around, there we go. Then we can use this, because the left turn would take me here. I'd go here. Then we go with the offload. So this is Y, which... Oh, I never did the offload here, though. So that's 2 forward, then offload. We're 1 command too much, I think. Well, I'm going to try it nonetheless. So G is green. That's easy to remember. Then we need to offload, which this one's going to be the red offload. Then we need 2 forward. All right. Maybe having the function be 2 forward is fine. So let's work this. Because I can remove these if I do that. So right, function 1, drop off needs to be here. This runs us into the same problem. We run out of commands because I have to put these commands out. Because of the way I have to color code things. But one thing I could do, this is kind of weird to do it, but I could start off function 2 with the pickup command and the drop off command, because we are using that right about that time. So let's try that. The drop off and pick up and drop off part of this command. In most instances it won't do anything, but it gives us some space to do other things. So I'm trying to remember, there is a part I need to do a function 1. I believe it's here. No, it would be here that we need it. We end up here, then we use function 1. I think. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I'm probably getting myself a little bit confused here. But if we end up here and we're dropping it off, then we just need function 1. All right. Let's see if this works at all. This one's a little bit more complex, but it shows you kind of where things can end up. Return, we do that. Oh, okay. We can't have the drop off command be before we move away. Because then otherwise, oh, well, how about this? We reverse them. Because you do the drop off command first. There we go. That's not a bad idea. Oh, so if you don't have the thing to do, then you can't do it. Well, that's not good. Well, that was a way to cheat the system. But unfortunately, now we're on a pickle. All right, so turn right, function 1. We do need to have the pickup command out of this. So function 2. So how can I make this more efficient? Because if with this, it has to be repeatable. I cannot use a function. I can't use a command if it's not available. Otherwise, we get an error code. So I thought we could cheat it by that. And most of these other things are to fix our this. Well, there is a hint function. Let's see what it has to say. You have to make 2 straight moves and sometimes 4. Yeah, okay. Oh, there you go. It says the most optimal path seems to run clockwise. Well, I don't know if I agree with that, because going clockwise means you have to go back around. But that may be true for the 2. All right, well, let's clear all this crap. So what it's telling me to do is just do a command that has me go forward 2. It's possible we already have this solved, but get rid of this. Okay, so it wants me to go clockwise. So I personally am going to do that. Then we do that. Then we need to turn right again. It's possible that I could incorporate the right turn into this function. But let's see if we move that. Do function 2. I'm not sure if this is the way I'd want to do it, but I'm just going to do it for the sake of argument. But it says the optimum path is clockwise, so I'm going to believe it. Let's now grab... It's possible because you're making always the same turn, maybe, that way. Actually, no, this is wrong. It's left, then right. Because you're commonly making the same turn. As a matter of fact, with that, I can put the right turn at the either beginning. Beginning would save us 1. So let's put the right turn at the beginning. Okay, so right turn at the beginning gets us there. We pick up. So we'll make this green just so that we remember G for green. Then we do function 2 again. That gets us here. So then we will pick up Y. And we do our function again. All right, so far this looks better. We end up there. We need to pick up. So that's going to be this. And we do that again. And we drop off. Then we do function 2 again. We end up here. Then we use function 1. Okay, yeah, that's right. This is saving me a lot of time. Okay, so let's do... So green for G. Then we do function 2. Red. Oop. There we go. For the drop off there. Then we do function 1 and we're done. All right, so that took a little bit more planning, but thankfully the hint helped. Let's do that. And that's a big part of this game, is how much space do you have to work with? And then how can you make the best use of your functions? Okay, well, there we go. Oh, and it looks like we have a little bit of story stuff. All right. So I'm not sure that was optimum, but hey, it wasn't too far off. That particular course seemed to have pretty much one solution. There might have been a little bit of a something that I could do to make it slightly more efficient, but not bad. All right, well, I think that's going to be it for this little look at Algobots. It gives you kind of an idea of what it's all about. And you got to see a little bit more of the mechanics in that last puzzle, because you also have the picking up and dropping off of things. It's not always going to be that bot, I don't think. You can also pick up and drop off other things. I don't remember. I think they were like canisters of waste or garbage or whatever earlier on, but that's kind of the idea. It's a little bit of a simpler puzzle game as far as the programming aspect goes. I'm sure there are other more complex programming games. Not something I have a lot of experience with. This is probably the only programming game that I'm really aware of having played. So it was, kind of a neat experience for me. This may be a good entry point to this kind of game because, again, it's not overly complex, but some of them you're going to be a little bit of, head scratcher, and you're going to have to sit there and think about it. It's a puzzle game after all. That's just how puzzle games go. But I have never really felt like I was stumped at any of the puzzles. That one, and at first I was stumped, but, you get the hints, and those usually are pretty helpful. I try and avoid them at first just to see if I can figure it out on my own, but in that case, we kind of ran into a dead end with the way I was trying to do it, just because I was taking the wrong course as far as optimization goes, because that particular puzzle you needed to get pretty much at that very, you had very little margin with what you had to do. You got to the limits of how much you could input with the way that I did it. And again, you may have been able to tweak a little bit of efficiency in there, but it wasn't going to be too much different. You still would have had most of your line filled there. So in any case, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. You can pick this game up for $9.99 if it's not on sale. Maybe worth taking a look at a sale. I don't really know how much gameplay there is to look at. I mean, you did see here when I was on the map, there are 3 sections of the ship that I've completed, and then you can kind of guess maybe from there how many more sections there are. It looks like, I would say, another 4. So within, I would say, wouldn't be quite 3 hours. Let's say 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours of play, that's about how far I've gotten. So may not be a whole lot more beyond that. Let's say 6 hours if we were to guess. It's not an overly long game, so again, it's up to you on whether you want to wait for a sale or what have you. But this is a pretty interesting game, and I think it's one of those ones that is getting overlooked with all the things that are going on up on Steam with the way Steam works at the moment. So that's kind of what I try and do with these series, is just showcase games that may be getting overlooked. But as I said, I hope you have enjoyed the video. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.